this is Heather Sides. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Spokane, Washington. And each week I come to you with 3 new cards that I've made, and I want to show you how to make them. And we can have a little fun together while we do it. So let me see. Oh, I have big news for you. Now, those of you who watched my Paper Pumpkin Alternate Ideas video 2 Saturdays ago already know that I got myself an assistant, and I am very excited to introduce you. But before I do, what I want to do is I want to make sure that I'm getting this video the way it needs to be. Whoops, I've got to go on mute. Hang on. Okay. And I want to make sure I can see all your comments. Hey, Robin, how are you? Good to see you. So anyway, please ignore the mess behind me. It's a conglomeration of all the stuff that's retiring and me trying to box it all up and keep it separate from new stuff. Also, today is my husband's birthday. He's old now. He's 50. You know, I'm not that far behind, but I still intend to always make him feel old. Well, just because it's my job. But anyway, so there's birthday stuff back there, and there's retiring stuff back there, and there's stuff that I had to get for my new assistant. So yeah, just ignore that mess altogether. But give me a moment, and I will bring my assistant in to introduce you. Hang on. Okay. This is my assistant. This is Phineas, and he was almost 10 weeks old. He turned 2 months on the 28th of March, and he is an absolute monster, which serves me right because I've begged for him for over a year. I had a golden that passed away a year ago, January, and he was almost 12 when he passed, so I had him for a very long time. And it's been that long since I had a little monster puppy in my house. So I begged and begged and begged, and my husband kept saying, no, no more dogs, no more dogs. And finally, he gave me the go-ahead, and he said, just go get it before I change my mind. I did not have to be told twice. I got in my car, and I went and got the puppy. So anyway, he really is very sweet, but he is a monster. He's at that puppy stage, you know, where he's into everything and checking everything out and still peeing on everything and, you know, all the stuff that you can't wait for them to outgrow. Except he's very, very snuggly and cuddly, as you can see here. And I'm not eager for him to outgrow that. So my previous golden never did. So I'm hoping that's the case with him. So anyway, so this is Phineas. And as you can imagine, he is very, very helpful as my assistant. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. So anyway, let me put him back on his little bed and we can get started. Okay, so a couple of reminders of things. The new annual catalog is coming out the beginning of March. March 3rd is the launch date. And there's some really cool stuff in there. I wish I could, well, I can show you the front of the catalog. This is the front. Oh, Robin, it's okay, you're not old, just my husband is old. Like I said, it's my job to make him feel old, so even if he was 23, I would be calling him old, because he's older than me. Yes, he is a beautiful monster, isn't he? Anyway, so this is the new catalog, and it goes live on May 3rd. So between now and then, Stampin' Up! Has released the list of things that are being retired, and some of them are at a pretty good discount. So if you are interested in checking out that list and seeing if there's anything that you must have before it's gone, go ahead and check it out on my website at heathersides.stampinup.net, and you can see what's being retired and what's on sale and all that good stuff. Because once it's gone, it's gone. And I mean that in 2 ways. One, once it retires, and the chances of us ever seeing them bring it back are pretty slim. The other thing is, too, obviously they're not going to restock stuff once they run out of inventory. So if there is something on that list that you really like and you really want, I would suggest ordering it right away, because if it runs out of stock, you won't be able to get it because they won't be restocking it. So that's this scoop on the retiring items. And then, like I said, the new catalog coming in March. So if you need one of our new catalogs, or you would like for me to send you one, just send me a personal message and let me know. Give me your address, where to send it, and I would be happy to send you one of the new annual catalogs. Lots and lots of great things in there. So for this month, my cards that I'm going to be making are, my focus is going to be retiring products. Just as kind of a reminder of what's out there and going away. But also reminders, as our weekly card making classes usually are, they're just great ideas of how you can use the products that you have or that you may want to purchase from my website. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and turn this camera around and we'll get started. So hang on here. Okay, bear with me while I move the stand a little bit. There we go. Hey Colleen, welcome. Oh, and Colleen being here reminds me that because, last week I was going to do the drawing. I'm doing a drawing every week now. And what I have decided to do, because it takes up a lot of time. Hey Talina, welcome. Because it takes a little bit of time to write down all the names of everybody who's watching, and I do want to allow the people who watch this on replay to participate as well. Because of that, what I'm doing is I'm doing the drawing the following week. So, for example, everybody who watches this week's video, whether it's live or on the replay, as long as you comment and let me know that you are watching, and this applies to my YouTube watchers as well. As long as you comment, let me know you're watching, your name will go into the drawing. Next week, I will announce the winner. So with that in mind, let's announce this week's, the winner from 2 weeks ago, the video I did 2 weeks ago, and then I wasn't on last week. So this week I'm announcing the winner. The prize is some 2020-2022 in color square gems. These colors are all being retired at the end of the month. So you want to stock up. If you need ink pads, if you need cardstock, if you need refills, now is the time to get any of the in color products because these ones, the 2020-2022 ones are all going, they're all retiring at the end of the month. So anyway, I have these in color square gems to give away, and the winner this week is Colleen Fitzgerald Buttery. So I know she's on here. I saw her comment. So Colleen, I don't have your address. So if you just want to send me a private message or an email, you can let me know what your address is and I will get these in the mail to you right away. Congratulations. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. The first card I'm going to make for you tonight, this one is kind of fun. This one is actually very quick and simple, and it is a gift card holder, but it's also a regular card at the same time. There's very little stamping involved because I wanted it to be something that you could put together very quickly with a gift card if you so chose. So instead of a cardstock belly band, I've tied a ribbon with our frayed, is that what it's called? Frayed, let me look, hang on. Okay, I'll just look in my new catalog because I know it's in there. And it is not retiring, so I want to be able to make sure to let you know what it is called. And it is called the White Frayed Ribbon. I guess I could have figured that one out, right? Nice and easy, white frayed ribbon. And it's got a little bit of a shimmer to it. It's kind of cool. But it is fairly thick, so it's going to add some bulk to your card. So it's probably best for cards that you are hand delivering and not mailing. And then this card, it's kind of a take on the Z fold. I saw this online this week and thought it was kind of fun. You open it up and there's a space for a gift card. Then you open it up this way and it's got a little message. then you open it up this way, and there's another message there. You could write your message inside this one, like sign it in here, maybe write a message inside here. But it's just kind of a fun card. So this is what we're going to make tonight. Let me put my ribbon back on here. How is everybody doing tonight? Is everybody having a good week? Does anybody have any exciting stories to tell? I live vicariously through you guys, so the more excitement you have in your life, the more excitement I have in mine. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is get out the little pack of paper, and we're going to do our envelope. I like to do those first so that the glue has a chance to dry while we are making the card. This is especially helpful if you are trying to make something quickly, like say you're going to a party and you didn't plan for a gift, so you just bought a quick gift card, but now you need something to put it in, so you need to do that quickly as well. So do your envelope first, because then it'll give it a chance to dry while you're making the card. And if you are using designer series paper that is directional like this, the flowers go up, you want to make sure you're putting it on your envelope in the right direction so that your flowers aren't going down. And this paper, this designer series paper, is the hand penned, and it is retiring. So let's cut off the extra here. It's going to snow there? That's awful. It's April. It should not be snowing, Robin. We've had some pretty cold weather here in Washington. I'm on the eastern side of the state, and I know both the eastern and western sides of the state have had some pretty cold weather the last like week or so. But today was actually kind of nice. In fact, I wore a big thick sweater today to work and had to take it off when I came outside. Yeah, Colleen, a lot of people I think are going to be sorry to see this paper go because it's just so pretty. I really like it. And it does have the coordinating stamp set. So, okay, so first step, let's get our 3 card bases. Got small, medium, and large here. I'm going to fold them all and then sharpen the crease with my bone folder. Oop. Okay. All right. Now what I have is the 3 pieces that go on the front of each of these card bases. So let's go ahead and glue them down. You know what? I'm going to move this just a little bit. There we go. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and glue down my cardstock. I'm sorry, my designer series paper. It looks like I might run out of my seal here soon, so I may have to do a refill tonight. Okay, let's put this one on, make sure it's going the right direction. I did it the wrong direction earlier today when I was making my sample, because remember, the cards are going different directions. The bottom one is going to open like a normal card would. The middle one is going to open backwards, and then the top one is going to open the direction that a normal card would. Okay. Oh, that looks, I think that's okay. Now what I'm going to do is put together the little inside pieces that I've got going on. So I have a little strip for the inside of the big card, the bottom card base. And I'm just going to add a little glue. Put it down here, and I'm just butting it right up to the crease there. Okay, now let's cut off. I do like to cut these strips a little bit long, just because then I know they'll be long enough because I can cut off the extra. Now this little piece is the inside for our gift card holder. I like to use our tear and tape to adhere this just because it is kind of a tight fit for the tear and tape. I'm sorry, for the gift card. And so it pulls on the designer series paper a little bit every time you take the gift card in and out. So I do like to use a stronger adhesive just to make sure it stays in place. And I'm putting it, you can see, right up to the edges of my designer series paper. And I'm putting it on 3 sides because I'm creating a little pocket here for the gift card. Put my tear and tape away. Now I like to take the bone folder before I pull off the release tape and just kind of go over the tear and tape so that it gets pressed in really well to my designer series paper. Then I'm going to take my take your pick tool. Those of you who follow me know that this is like my #1 must-have tool. Okay. And now we're going to go ahead and put this on the inside of the front card. And again, if it goes over the edge a little bit, you can just trim it. I'm not too worried about it because it's going to be down. Well, you know, it does stick out a little bit, doesn't it? Okay, let's go ahead and trim that. Okay. This may be a case of where my fold was kind of off center just a little bit, and this back piece sticks out a little far. So let me just trim this off. There we go. I just trimmed a little smidge off of this edge, and smidge is the technical term in case you were wondering. And let's take the gift card, well in this case it's my library card, and put it in there because we want it to start stretching the paper a little bit just so that it fits in there. And now what we're going to do is a little bit of stamping. There is just a tiny bit in this card. So first we're going to take, this is the middle piece, and we're using the stamp set I'm using here is Happiest of Birthdays. I am so sad to see this one go. Hey Jenny, good to see you. Welcome. If you're a little late coming to this tonight, Jen, make sure you later go back and watch the video because you will want to meet my new assistant. He's absolutely adorable and you will want to come visit him. Okay, so anyway, the stamp set I used here is Happiest of Birthdays, and I'm sad to see this one go because I did like these big messages. And I'm using the Mint Macaron ink. So we'll ink up the stamp a little bit. Make sure I stamp on the right side of the paper. It's because it feels a little bit backwards. And yes, when I was doing this earlier, I stamped everything backwards. I put my designer series paper on backwards. So there you go. There's that layer. Yeah, there we go. And then for the inside, here, let me clean this off really quick. That sound was me dropping stuff on the floor because that's what I do. Okay. Now, the next stamp I'm going to use, also from that same set, says It's Your Day, Enjoy It. So let's go ahead and ink this one up. There we go. Could be a little darker, but that's okay. Now, let's put our card together. Actually, before we put the card together, let's close up the ink pad because I will lay down in the ink pad and get it all over myself if I don't. Hi Cody, welcome. It's nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so now let's put this all together. We're going to take, I'm just using my Seal Plus here. And I'm gonna just center it on the front of my card base, the largest card base. Now I'm going to take the small one. I'm gonna do the same thing. Oops. Okay, put it on the front of this one. Now I have a ribbon. And if you need to send this in the mail and you don't want it quite so bulky, you could just tie like a little knot, or even just put these together like this and take some like baker's twine and tie a little bow around it that keeps it sealed. But I just liked the look of this nice big chunky ribbon because, again, the purpose of this card in my mind was to have something quick and easy for a gift card. I'm not getting centered very well. And so by having this nice big chunky ribbon, it really fills out the front of the card and it doesn't require a whole lot of extra detail. So now I'm going to tie this bow. There we go. Well, how did I do that? Okay, let's try this again. I promise it's just a simple bow. I'm not doing anything super fancy here. Okay, so now I get that so it's kind of centered on the card. These are still a little bit longer than I want them. Now let's trim the tails. And then just to give it one last little bit of something, what I did is I took some of the 2021 to 2023 in color jewels. Now, even though these colors aren't retiring, these jewels are. So I want to, use them up now before they're gone. And I love these. I'm sad to see them going because they really are very versatile. I've used them a lot. So if you like these, I recommend stocking up on them before they go out of stock. That's just my little 2 cents worth. Okay, there we go. See, we've got just a couple little sparkles, got our matching envelope, and there's that whole card. Nice and easy, right? And it didn't even take us very long. So let's go ahead and clean up and get out the next card that we're going to make. Let's see here. Okay, so the next one we're going to make uses Tasteful Touches and the Tasteful Labels dies. I love these. Oh, I'm crooked. I just realized that. I've really enjoyed these dies because they're pretty generic. Oh, I'm really crooked again. Let's see here. What do I need to do? Is that better? Takes a minute before the camera catches up to whatever I've done. So I just want to make sure everything looks okay for you guys to see. Bear with me, guys. I'm really sorry. Okay, so anyway, these labels are kind of generic-y shapes, but they're fun and they're not just plain and basic. And so I've really liked these, and I do recommend getting them before they retire because they are so handy. This is the coordinating stamp set, Tasteful Touches, and the different sentiments fit in these different dies. So the card we're making tonight that goes with those products is this one. And this is kind of a little twist on a matchbook fold. I've done a matchbook fold before. But anyway, this piece tucks in right here to this little corner piece, and you do your message inside. So that's what we're going to make tonight. Start by doing our envelope. A little glue around the edges. And I've mentioned this before, I prefer to use the liquid glue to put this on, or to do this, because the liquid glue gives me just a little bit of wiggle room when I put that designer series paper on it. If I need to kind of scoot it around a little bit, I can, because it's still wet. And this designer series paper that I'm using is the In Good Taste designer series paper. It is a beautiful pack, and it's one side is all wood grains and then the other side is just kind of different patterns. But they lend themselves to a little bit more masculine cards. So I do really like this pack, and we've had this one for a couple years. Usually we retire all of our designer series paper after 1 year in order to bring in new designer series paper. But this one we kept for a couple of years. So I'm very, very sad to see it go, but we did get to keep it longer than normal. So I really shouldn't complain, I guess. So I'm going to set my envelope out of the way here. Okay, now the first thing I have just a basic card base, and this is just 1/4 of a sheet. It's 5.5 by 4 1/4, and then I have a piece of designer series paper that is 4 by 5 1/4. And so let's go ahead and stick that down. Okay, then I have a couple other pieces. Let's go ahead and put our corner piece on now. This also comes from that same pack. All of the designer series paper in this card comes from the In Good Taste pack. And just like I did with the previous card, with the one that had the gift card holder, I used the tear-in tape because I do want it to be anchored down there pretty well from when that piece gets taken in and out and in and out frequently. Okay. Now I made this piece a little bit long on purpose because I did want that adhesive to go all the way to the corner there. Okay, now make sure that's stuck down nice and well. Take off the release tape. And we're going to stick it on here, just lining it right up with the corner of the designer series paper that's already on there. Okay, now let's see. Let's start with, we're going to build this kind of backwards so that we can put this together as we go. I am using Night of Navy ink here, and I'm using the Misty Moonlight cardstock. Misty Moonlight is one of the in colors that is being retired this year. So you'll definitely want to stock up on that if it's a color that you love and want to make sure you have for a while. Now I'm just taking these little branches and I'm just going to kind of stamp them randomly all around the edge here. And it doesn't really matter that I don't have anything in the center because we're going to be covering the center up anyway. Okay. Now, let's see here. Clean off my stamp. Sorry if that shakes the table when I clean my stamp. I'm little limited on space tonight. Well, I'm limited on space usually anyway, but tonight I'm a little more limited than usual. Kathy. Hi, Kathy. Welcome. I didn't see you sneak in. Kathy says that she likes the stitching on the dies, and I do too. It just gives it a nice finished look. I'll show you what she's talking about. These have kind of a little double stitched edge on them. So like I said, it just gives kind of a finished look to your die. And I really like that. And so does Kathy. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, this is just our basic white cardstock, and it is, let me see here. Okay, so it's 3.5 by 8.5 inches, and then I just scored it in the middle at 4 1/4. So let's make a nice sharp crease there and glue this piece down. Okay. All right, now what we're going to do is set this aside while we work on the other part of the card. Actually, one more thing we're going to do here is I want to do this little, wow, my camera's really out of whack tonight. Let's get everything all lined up again. Goodness gracious, I'm out of control, you guys. I am really sorry. Tonight it's just going crazy. Hi, Mary. Welcome. Nice to see you joining us tonight. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this strip and put it on the inside of our little card. So let's put some glue on there. Strips like this are another one where I like to use the liquid glue, because if I need to kind of scoot it around a little bit to straighten it out, I can while the glue is still wet. And actually, I think I'm going to take this. Do I want to take it all the way to the bottom? No, I don't think so. Okay. So there's our strip. Let's cut off the extra. Okay, now we're going to set that aside while we work on the other two pieces. Okay, so what I did, I'm going to put this on last. Let's go ahead and stamp this. So here's the flower from that same stamp set, and I'm going to use the Night of Navy ink. Ink up my stamp, and I'm going to stamp it right in the middle of this label, which, by the way, I die cut this using those die cuts, that set. And I'm going to put my flower right there in the middle. There we go. Now I wanted to give this a little bit more color, but I didn't want to fully color it in with our Stampin' Blend markers. That was just a little bit bolder than what I wanted to do, because I felt like we already had some pretty dark stuff going on the card. So I took one of my blender pens here. Scribble a little bit first to make sure you don't have leftover ink from another project. And then what I did is I colored in this whole center thing, and then I just started going over the lines that are provided by Stampin' Up! That are supposed to be the shading kind of the flower. And it looks like this would take a while because there's a lot of them there, but it really doesn't take long at all. Now I'm not doing anything super precise. I'm just kind of going over that line. What happens, these blender pens, what they do is they pick up some of that ink and they pull it out onto the white. So it just gives you that little shadow of color. There we go. And see how it just gave us a little, and then I'll scribble to get rid of any extra ink that's on my pen. Then I took one of my Stampin' Blends. This is the Light Night of Navy. And I'm just gonna flick. So I'm taking my lid and I'm flicking the pen a little bit just to add a little bit of sprinkle onto the white there. It just was very stark when when it was just the white with the flower. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to take, hang on, let me make sure what direction I cut this. Okay, I'm going to take this and cut it in half lengthwise. And then I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive here. And I'm lining this up so that there's just a little bit of the edge peeking out on the sides. And it kind of peeks out a little bit on the top, but not a lot. And you don't really want it to, because since I cut it in half to make it be a little bit wider to go around the edge here, there's going to be kind of a little bit on the top that doesn't show, or it shows that it is split in half. And you don't really necessarily want to draw attention to that. Okay. Try this again here. Oops, that's not quite right there. There we go. See, so it just gives a little bit of an outer edge on that, and we're going to stick it on there. So it really doesn't even show a whole lot, but if you saw the difference between the plain white on there and the white with the little bit of navy, it ends up looking like it's a little bit of a shadow. So we'll put some more adhesive on here. And there went the rest of my seal. So we're going to need a refill here in just a moment. Let's put this on the card first. And just center this on the front of this little flap. Okay, bear with me. I'm going to get a refill. Looks like I need to order some more. I'm down to just a couple of these, and I do go through quite a few of them. Okay, let's see. When you run out of the seal, it's really easy to replace it. You just line it up with the little, you can see there's little, I don't know, posts that stick up. You line them up. There you go. Quick and easy. Okay, so now let's go ahead, and I'm going to use my tear and tape again to adhere this down, just because I am afraid that the movement, the pulling that you apply to it when you pull it out of that little flap might cause the adhesive to loosen a little bit. So I don't want to risk it, so I'm using my tear and tape on that part as well. Now you want to be careful with tear and tape because it is such a strong adhesive. It can be fairly unforgiving. So you want to make sure that it's right where you want it to be before you really press it down. Okay, so let's take the bone folder and get this nice and stuck to our card. Phineas, please don't pee. Okay. And if you do your strip a little too long, like you can see I did there, all you have to do is fold it back over itself. Easy peasy. Okay, so now I want to center this in. Oh, before I do that, I want to stamp this piece, just so it's not quite so bulky when I'm trying to stamp on it. So, and I probably should have done that before I even glued it on there, but here we go. And we're just going to stamp that right there. It appears my assistant, who was sleeping so nicely, has woken up. So now I've just slid it into there. There we go. And that's the card. When they open it, they just pull it out like that. And our matching envelope. Ta-da! Okay, just a reminder as we're going, please make sure you leave me a comment of some sort, whether you're watching this live. If you're watching this live, you'll see in the upper left-hand corner of your screen, there's a little red box that says live. If you don't see that, you're watching the replay. Either way, leave me some sort of comment to let me know you're here, because that's what gets your name into the drawing for the prize I'll give away next week. Okay, so for our final card, we're really making good time tonight. For our final card tonight, we're using the Turtle Friends dies, and of course my layering circles dies. These are not retiring, but you know how I use them for everything. So, Turtle Friends are retiring, as is, there's a Turtle Punch that fits this guy right here. That is retiring as well. Okay, so here is the card we're going to make. Another fun fold with our cute little turtle guy, and it opens like this. Just like that. No, Phineas, you make me nervous when you're walking around because I'm afraid you're gonna pee, and I'd really like you to hold it until I'm done. My husband's out, he runs, and he's out on his run, so it's not like he can let the dog out. Okay, so I have a half a sheet of the Just Jade cardstock. Just Jade is one of our retiring colors. It is 5.5 by 8.5. And what I did is I scored it at 2 1/8 on this end, on just one end. And I'm going to show you why. I'm folding both pieces in. It's called a gatefold, but I only score one. And the reason for that is sometimes the scoring gets just a little bit off center, or, you know, the paper is just a tiny bit off. So I prefer to hand fold the second one, because I can just butt it right up to that first one. Okay, so now I'm going to take my bone folder. And forgot to do the envelope. So let's get our envelope taken care of here. It got bent up a little bit. Kathy says, so cute. Thank you, Kathy. I love that little turtle. I think he's adorable. And I didn't use him nearly enough this year. Okay, so now I'm going to take, this is the Just Jade Designer Series paper. It's also being retired. It's part of the in colors that are being retired. So everything of that is one of those in colors is gonna go bye-bye. So let's cut off the extra now. Okay. I'm just gonna cut off some of that extra there. Doesn't really matter, but it bothers me, so. There we go. Set this aside to dry. Okay, so let's do the inside of our card. And for this, I have a piece of basic white, and we're going to do a couple things here. Let's actually do all of our stamping first, because I do have a couple different stamping things that need to take place. So on this circle, it's okay, Phineas, we're almost done. Okay, so I have our cute little turtle here, and I am going to use my piercing mat. The photopolymer stamps just seem to stamp a little bit better if you have a cushion under them. I'm using my black Memento ink. And I'm just going to stamp this right in the center of my circle. Little tip, when I made the original one, I actually stamped it and then cut it out because I was able to take the different circle dies and find the one that was the right size. Okay, then I'm also going to take this tiny little piece right here, and I'm going to stamp, where'd he go? This adorable little teeny tiny turtle. And I don't even actually need to get the whole guy on there because I really only want his shell. And then I have this strip right here. And on that strip, I am taking this is the same stamp I used to stamp the turtle on the circle. And I'm stamping it here. Again, I don't care that I'm not getting the entire turtle. I really only wanted his shell. Okay. So let's start by putting away that ink pad. And the markers that I have, these are actually crumb cake. I have the light one and the dark one. The cardstock that I used on the card is actually Sahara sand, but we don't have a Sahara sand stamp and blend. So I use the crumb cake, and it actually works really well. So, whoops, wrong end. First, I'm going to take the dark one and do his little toenails. And if you decide that that's too light, you can come back and add dark after it's had just a moment to sink in, kind of dry a little bit, because it will layer the color better if you color on dry color. So, okay, now I'm going to color his little tail and his legs. And his head and neck. I know, Phineas, you want up in my chair. But I would put you in my chair, and then you would jump down and land on your head, because that's what you do. So I'm just coloring around the edges here. I'm not doing a whole lot of shading on this one. I'm just trying to keep it simple. There we go. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this turtle that I stamped, find my scissors, and I'm just going to cut out the shell. It's easier to fussy cut, which is what we call having to hand cut these things like this. It's easier to fussy cut if you move the paper, not your scissors. So that's just a little tip for you in that regard. Okay, hang on, Phineas, and I'll put you in the chair so you can jump and land on your head, but don't blame me when you do. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to use my liquid glue. And put it right there on the turtle. And now I also want to take this circle and do the back. And the reason for this is because you can see that the ink soaks through the paper and it shows. And I don't want it to show when I open the card. So I'm just putting something over it to hide that. There's nothing in there that you need, my friend. Okay, so now I'll set that one aside. Then the other thing I thought I did a strip on the inside. Didn't I do a strip on the inside? Okay, gonna have to cut one really quick here. Give me a moment. Okay, easy peasy. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and glue this down to the inside piece of my card. Just like so. Cut off the extra. Phineas, what are you into? Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to stamp that little turtle guy again. So I'm going to get my black ink out again. Oh, that was lovely. Okay. And I'm just going to line him up right there so it looks like he's walking on that strip. I did a little high, but that's okay. And then, oh, I still want my black ink here. And then I'm also, I lied, I don't want my black ink. I want to use the Just Jade. And I have a nice little birthday message. It says happy birthday. It's also part of that same stamp set. Hey Kim, welcome. Good to see you. I'm going to stamp this right here. So our greeting is going to actually be a little bit different. It's going to be at the bottom of the card. Now put away my ink pad. And I have the other little turtle that I stamped, and we're going to cut out that shell now. If you're like me, I recommend, do your stamping at the beginning so you have it done, but wait to cut it out because it's such a tiny little piece, you can lose it pretty easily. Phineas? Hey. Okay, now a little tiny bit of glue here. And I'm going to put it on the shell, just like I did the big one for the front. Oh, I should have colored that first. Gosh darn it, but we'll make it work. While I have this out, I do want to color his little toenails on the big guy. Just a little bit darker. Now we'll take the light crumb cake. Look at that teeny tiny little tail. I love it. Okay, I want to go back over his little toes again. And let's go ahead and stick this to the inside of the card. Now all we've got left is to just piece things together. There's my adhesive. Okay. So now that's stuck in the inside. The inside is done. Now what we're going to do is put these pieces on the front flaps, just like that. Move this for the time being. Okay, I keep forgetting where I've put my adhesive. And like I said, this is, I put the Just Jade Designer Series paper on Sahara Sand. While the Just Jade is retiring, the Sahara Sand is not. It's part of our basic color collection. Oops. There we go. Now let's go ahead and stick these down to the flaps of the card. And what I did here is I made them go all the way to the edge of the flap, like that. Okay, let's stick this down. So see how they kind of butt up to one another, just like that. You don't need to be on the bed, Phineas. Okay, so now we have our turtle here. And what I did is I also created this ring with my layering circles dies. And the way you do this is you take a big ring. Let me show you. You take a big ring and then a smaller ring, whatever size you want, and you cut them out like that. You know, line it up and you cut them out like that. And what it does is it gives you a ring and a bigger circle. But that's how I got the ring. Phineas, no. I have this box in here that he keeps chewing, and I can't even move the box out of the way because it's something my husband put in here because there was nowhere else to put it. And there's ceramic tiles because he wants to retile our bathroom. So it's a big heavy box of stuff that I can't move because I'm a wimpy little thing. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to line these up where I want them, figure out about where they need to go. And I'm only going to put adhesive on half of this because remember, the card's going to open up. And if we put adhesive on the whole thing, we're going to seal the card shut. Okay. I have to keep squirting the dog because he keeps getting into stuff. Now he keeps trying to chew one of my boots. Okay. Now again, for this ring, we're only going to put glue on half of it. But we're going to put it on the opposite side that we glued the turtle. Okay? So, oops, that's not good. There we go. That's better. So now the pieces fit together like that to close. Get out of my garbage. It's just paper. My friend is a monster. Okay, then for the final touch, I just wanted a little something extra. So I have a tiny little bit of baker's twine, 2 strips of it, and I'm going to tie an itty bitty little bow. If you have a hard time tying bows, then, get yourself bigger lengths, longer lengths of the baker's twine, because it's easier to tie bows when you've got a little extra to work with. Now I'm going to go ahead and trim that off. That one looks like it's quite a bit longer. Let's see here. There we go. And I'm going to take a glue dot and just set the bow on there, press it into the glue dot really, really well. And then you can peel it off. I'm just going to stick it right here on the ring, right at the bottom center. And there we go. There's our third card. So we've made all 3 cards now. Give me a second here. Let me clean up and we'll take a peek again at all the cards we made tonight. Okay, move some stuff out of the way. Okay, so first we have our little turtle guy that we made from the Turtle Friends stamp set that is retiring. We also have from Tasteful Touches, our little fun fold that opens kind of like the matchbook fold card does. And then we also have our gift card holder that you take off your ribbon, open it this way, open it this way, then open it this way. And you saw how quick and easy that card was for a fun way to give somebody a gift card. Let's get that ribbon back on. And there we go. Those were our 3 cards tonight. If you would like to purchase any of these retiring sets that I have used, or any of the other supplies, or you just need to restock your own inventory, I would love to earn your business. You can place an order at my website, heathersides.stampinup.net. And if you have an order under $150, if you would use this host code, I would really appreciate that. Helps me to earn the things that I can give away to my customers, like yourselves. And then if your order's over $150, don't use the host code, because you'll have some free rewards coming to you, and I want to make sure that you get them. So If you liked what you saw tonight, if you enjoyed this video, it would help me out a lot if you would like this video, share the video, whether it's on YouTube or here on Facebook. The algorithms of those sites, when they see you liking and sharing videos, they say, oh, wow, this might be something someone else wants to see. And so they put it out there and share it a little more often, and I would really appreciate that. Oh, I'm seeing the love, the hearts, the smileys. Thank you guys so much. If you are watching this on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to my page, because then you will get, if you click on the notification bell, you'll get notifications when I'm going to go live again. So those are just some little tips to how you can see some more. Colleen, that's very sweet of you. I really appreciate the kind words. I really try to put in the time and effort to bring you guys things that you'll enjoy, and I'm glad that you do. I enjoy hearing that, so thank you so much. Hello, Jennifer. I didn't see you pop in. I just now saw your name, so good to see you. I'm glad you joined us. And so for those of you who missed the very beginning, I will show you my monster assistant here again. Let me turn my camera around one more time. See if you can see him. This is Phineas, my little monster who drives us crazy. Let's see, what can we see in the video here? There we go. You can kind of see him. Cut my head off a little bit so that you can see this little beastie. Hopefully I'll have a sitter to watch him next week, and he won't be quite so troublesome. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed what you saw tonight. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you back here same time next Wednesday. Bye!